Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me. It's the beginning of a brand new tax year here in the UK, and what better way to celebrate than to talk about ISAs? If you don't know, an ISA stands for an individual savings account, and it's a brilliant way to save and invest in the UK without paying tax on interest or capital gains earned. There are four main types of ISAs, which I'm going to try and run through in the next 5 minutes. And each tax year, you can deposit a maximum of £20,000 into all but one of the four different ISA types. If I get time at the end, I'll add in one more ISA category that might be relevant for some savers. So that's a very quick intro out of the way. Please give this video a like if you find it useful, and let's get started with our first ISA. Cash ISAs can be opened by any UK resident over the age of 16 and are probably the most straightforward and simplest type of ISA, in that they're really similar to a normal savings account that you'd get in a standard bank. You can deposit up to £20,000 each tax year, and you're paid interest on your cash balance. Any interest earned is obviously tax-free. As with regular savings accounts, there are both fixed rate and instant access options for cash ISAs. Cash ISAs offer great security for your money, but they have been notorious for their lower than average interest rates. In saying that though, the interest rate hikes that we've seen over the last 15 months have helped to boost the popularity of cash ISAs, with today's interest rates ranging from between 3.2 and 4.2%, depending on how long you're happy to lock your money away for. Still nowhere near the inflation rate of 10.4%, which is constantly reducing the purchasing power of our money, but it's actually better than nothing. Depending on how much cash you've got to stash away, you could just keep your money in a normal savings account where you'd secure a higher interest rate than you would with a cash ISA. Don't forget that depending on your tax band, you have a personal savings allowance of £1,000 each tax year to use. This table helps illustrate where savings could reach the thresholds for basic and high rate taxpayers. So if you know that the annual interest rate that you'll earn on your money will exceed your personal savings allowance in a regular savings account, and you're not keen on any of the other ISA options that I'll cover next, then a cash ISA could be more beneficial from a tax efficiency point of view. Stocks and shares ISAs essentially allow you to invest your money in the stock market. You get the opportunity to buy shares in successful and growing companies and reap the benefits when these companies hopefully do well. You can also invest in other assets such as investment funds, investment trusts, and bonds. Unlike the cash ISA, you need to be aged 18 or over to open a stocks and shares ISA. The expectation is that investing your money in a stocks and shares ISA will achieve much better returns than a cash ISA, given the level of risk involved in the stock market. This is because the value of your investments can go up as well as down. We've all seen the same disclaimer repeated on every single investment platform in existence today, and that's because it's absolutely true. But if you have a longer term time frame of say 5 years or more, and you're open to varying degrees of risk, then a stocks and shares ISA would be a good option to consider. At least this way you have a better chance of beating inflation than if you left your money in a cash ISA or a regular savings account. Depositing money in an ETF which tracks the performance of the S&P 500, for example, could achieve an average return of around 10% over the long term. If you want to see my own review of the best stocks and shares ISA for this tax year, then I'll include a link to a video I did a few weeks back on this, which you can watch after this one. Innovative finance ISAs are quite similar to stocks and shares ISAs, but you do something called peer-to-peer lending instead. This is where you lend your money via your ISA to companies or people who need it. You get a return on your money because the people or companies that borrow your cash pay interest on the loan. The amount of interest you get paid depends on how long you're prepared to leave your money untouched for. Again, you need to be aged 18 and above to open an innovative finance ISA. The downside of this kind of ISA is that they aren't protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, so your money could be at risk if you save with an ISA provider that goes bust. Lifetime ISAs or LISAs were designed to help people save for their first home or save for later on in life. You can only deposit a maximum amount of £4,000 per tax year into a LISA. Even though the maximum age you can open an ISA is 40, you can actually keep contributing to it until the age of 50. And you're able to keep the money in cash, invested in the stock market, or a combination of both. A big bonus is that the government adds a 25% bonus to any money you put in, but the catch is that you can only withdraw money from an ISA to buy your first home or once you turn 60 years of age. If you withdraw it outside of these parameters, you could lose all of the 25% government bonus applied to the whole amount you withdraw. So you could end up losing more than you put in. For example, if you deposited £2,000 into your ISA, the government would add a 25% bonus of £500, leaving you with £2,500 in the bank. But if you needed to withdraw the whole amount, a 25% charge would apply to the full £2,500. This would leave you with £1,875, which is less than your original deposit. So definitely don't use an ISA if you know that you might need the money for anything but a house deposit or retirement. With a junior ISA, parents or legal guardians can set up investments for their children. Deposits can be held in cash, invested in the stock market, or a combination of both. You can add up to £9,000 each tax year to a junior ISA, and they're a great way to put money aside for under 18s. What's interesting is that although only a parent or guardian can set up a junior ISA, grandparents, friends, or other family members are able to pay into it without affecting their own personal ISA allowances. So it's definitely a great way to set up a little nest egg for a child to access on their 18th birthday. So that's ISAs in 5 minutes done. In a nutshell, the ISA that is best for you and your circumstances will depend on many factors, including your own timelines, your financial goals, your attitude to risk, and ultimately, if you suspect that you might need the cash in the next few years, then a low-risk investment like a cash ISA is probably the safer bet. If you can't decide which ISA to choose from, then you don't have to. You can actually open more than one type of ISA each tax year and deposit a share of the £20,000 allowance into all of them. For the sake of your own sanity though, I would not recommend it, but the option is certainly there if you want it. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.